Welcome to the GLO Podcast, the show that's raw, real, and absolutely inspiring. Get ready to laugh, cry, and get ready for a real, raw, unfiltered ride as we dive deep into the incredible and sometimes controversial stories of your favorite celebrities and influencers. This is where the extraordinary becomes the ordinary, and where inspiration knows no bounds. And now your host, the former WWE Superstar, viral TikToker, celebrity fitness and nutrition coach, and all-around force to be reckoned with, Gabbi Tuft.
Welcome to the GLO Podcast. I am your host, Gabbi Tuft, and I just want to let you know I've got a very special guest coming in today. He is the lead singer of Falling in Reverse. A good friend of mine, Ronnie Radke, is here with us. Ronnie, say hi.
Hi. You can call me Ronald if you want to.
Ronald. Would you prefer Ronald?
That's my new. That's another song that I just released. That's my government name.
That's your government. That's the one with Tech Nine and Alex Terrible, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The Ronald is what my. I hate saying the word haters because it's just so annoying. Like my haters, whatever. But you have to. That's what my haters say. That's how they call me Ronald because they think that it bothers me. So that's why I named that song Ronald, because then it just completely strips the power from them.
I love the song. You do that. Like you just you take it by the reins. You go head on, and you're like, "Oh, you hate me? Let me give you something to work with."
You can't. There's nothing you can do to me because I just make fun of myself, dude.
Right?
You know what I mean? If there's like a funny video that gets leaked that's like super embarrassing, I would literally just post it myself.
Get out in front of the train. That way you're in control.
Yeah,
dude. I love that.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like the old 8 Mile, like Eminem at the end when he's battling. What is it?
Exactly.
Future? Just puts all that shit out there.
Yep. Exactly.
Love that. I love that.
You have to, and you got to be funny. You got to enjoy you got to make fun of yourself. I feel like nowadays people don't. Everybody kind of takes themselves a little too serious.
God, yeah.
And I don't know I'm not saying everyone, I'm sorry, but just bands, and it just seems like we're in serious times. Do you remember a time when it was fun and in the music scene and you know what I mean? Like there was it just feels very serious. It feels very, don't say that, don't do this, don't do that. Watch out, you better think twice before you step there because, and back in the day it was just like people would let it rip. Yeah. And it just felt more fun.
It's way too PC. Everybody's worried about offending somebody else, and it's like we've gotten away from just being able to be who we are. Like, I'm the first person to put it out there. Like, I know what I am. Like, there's shit out there about me. I'm like, yeah, like let me get that out there the same way. But when it comes to music, it doesn't.
But you're cool as hell, though.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate
you are.
That.
You're cool.
We you and I connected so well. Like when Raya invited me. Ronnie's partner Saraya invited me out to your video, the new one that just dropped today, All My Life. That was the first time you and I had met, and we clicked.
I immediately liked you.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was really cool, man. I think that was the best 24 hours on set I've ever had. Like everybody you had out there was so cool. From Bunny to Jelly to Blair, like Raya's just a freaking sweetheart. Like I think it's
so. If you guys don't know. Gabbi is the one that is body slamming someone through a table. It's in the first, I think it's the first chorus. It's very obvious. It's action packed. But a fun fact was she was gonna do it to me. It was gonna be me going through the table. Didn't you pick me up?
I did. I picked you up. We had it all set. I was wearing my boots, my high heel boots.
I was scared because I didn't want to die. I know you're a pro. And then someone stepped in and was like, no, this is, we need him just in case or something. They were like, we need a stunt guy to come in.
Yeah, it's a big move, dude. Like you were going through a table.
It was huge.
No, it wasn't a small move by any means. Like we literally broke a table on set. It could have been you.
Yeah.
And you were leaving, you had the other leg of your tour to take off to as well, right?
Oh yeah. That was correct. I forgot about that. That was probably one of the reasons. It was risky. It looks sick though. It looks awesome.
Yeah, the final cut, like you do all the editing for your videos too, right? Or a lot of it?
I don't personally edit it, but I'm involved in like making sure it looks good and stuff. Yeah.
A lot of the
They'll send it
directing
to me
for the
and
videos? Or the videos?
My director is Jensen. He is incredible. We share the ideas. I can't take full credit at all. There's no way. I wouldn't be able to do it without Jensen and the whole crew and all the people that the lighting and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I do have a big say in a lot of the creativity, the way that they're shot, the way that they're edited. Yes. So,
And they're incredible, Ronnie. Like
Thank
every
you.
one of your
Thank
videos.
you.
I was joking with Rhea a couple weeks ago. I think it was when when Ronald came out and that video hit. One of your followers was like, "I think Ronnie has a $4 billion budget for every video," and I snapshotted it and I sent it to Rhea. I was just like, it feels like it because it's so the quality and like the cinematic, like everything is just unreal, and the amount of time you put into it is just incredible.
Yeah, the videos to me is so important because if you haven't noticed nowadays, like YouTube, people don't really care about the videos because they think that they don't matter. You know what I mean? They think that, but they do. If you haven't noticed, look how big my band has gotten, and it's not just because of music videos. The Spotify shows that people are actually listening to the songs more than they're watching the videos. But the videos are so important. Like, why would I want? It's a good example. Why would I want a Rolls Royce Cullinan? I do love cars, but that could sit in my driveway, and it has. But I just think about it like this: a Rolls Royce Cullinan is a very expensive car. I would rather give that car to somebody if they can give me a good music video, because the music video is expensive, but it lasts forever.
Right.
And people never forget that, and you can always go back and watch that.
Yeah.
And a Rolls Royce gets old, and you got to trade it in. You know what I mean? It's like. Yeah. I would rather drive a crappy car and have an expensive music video than the other way around. Than have something for myself. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
It's like so important to me. You know, I don't know. Yeah. It's just very important.
Well, it shows how much you care, like how passionate you are about your band, your music, and the atmosphere and the message that is getting across to everybody else. So it speaks volumes about you. You know,
thank you.
In the new song "All My Life," you teamed up with Jelly, which is just. I don't think anybody saw it coming, and
at a perfect time too. And we were planning this way before.
Right?
He's huge now.
Right? It's insane.
He's right. He's on the cusp. He's like a global superstar. Like when you guys, you know, when you talk about superstardom, he's now being talked about in the mix of that. Yeah. Wild. Superstar is like...
He's everywhere. And to think that you guys had this plan for months and months before, and you're working on that, and now it's just like perfect universal divinity. I love it. But you had Jelly, you had Bunny, who's just a doll, but you had Blair in your video, and you had me, which, you know, looking at the timing of everything, I know it was supposed to come out earlier, but because Jelly was like so busy, it worked out being now, which is Pride Month.
I didn't even think about that too.
Yeah, like the world is going to receive this in so many different ways because you have me and you have Blair in your video, Blair White. So talk to me. Tell me what's up. What spurred to bring me and Blair on board?
Well, I do like to be controversial without, you know, I mean, it helps drive. When the more people talk about something, the more, you know, it helps. Sure. And if the song is also good, because the song is good.
Song's a banger, dude.
It's a straight country song, and people are going to be mad about that. You know, there's going to be a lot of people, this song sucks. I get that all the time, but for some reason it does so well. You know, I don't know. They sing it very loud at the show, so that's all that matters. But to bring you guys in was like a no-brainer because... you know, I get called so many things. I get called transphobic, homophobic, racist, murderer, like just insane things that aren't true. And, you know, I feel like these people that are calling me this, they don't really know my history with with all of it. Like,
Right.
like I've been accepted in with all of this stuff for so long. In my old videos, there's pictures of me with every type of person, you know what I mean? And I think that these people are too young to realize that, and they need a narrative, you know. And it's because I say certain things on Twitter. You read something, and your narrative is different from mine,
right?
So you automatically put me in a box, you know. I'm like,
yeah, I
don't agree with like certain things in the trans community. Like I don't agree with like a swimmer beating a bunch of biological women. That's just my opinion, and it doesn't make me transphobic. I'm homies with all of you guys.
That was that incident. It was crazy because that got me involved at that point. People started asking me questions about it, and what I found is that the allowable testosterone levels for the National College Association were through the roof for trans women compared to biological women. I'm like, how is that fair? Coming from a person that did a ton of steroids back in the day, I know what a little bit of testosterone does. I'm like, that's not fair.
So do I. I did testosterone, and that's how I got a little bit of muscle back about 7 years ago. Can't do it anymore, by the way. If you guys think I'm on anything, this is all my muscle. I'm a singer. I want you guys to know testosterone lowers your voice and it makes you hard for you to sing. And I wish I could do it, but I can't. And that's a side story. But you're right. It's so crazy that people deny absolute logic. Right. Like, yo, this person, this trans is literally very tall, right?
Yep, they're very. Yeah, Leo is very
big.
Tall.
Very big, very skeletal, like, yeah. Dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
I am the first to be I'll be the first person to say, when I get in the ring with other females, like biological females, it's not even
beating their ass.
It's not even a comparison, Ronnie. Like,
I know.
Like, can you imagine me in the ring with Rhea? Like, I dwarf
you beat
her.
The shit out of her.
I would in a real like combat, I would destroy her. I
know. You probably beat my ass too.
Well, don't tell anybody. I want to have that somewhat of appearance that I'm kind of dainty.
You're strong. You know what I mean, and you should be proud of that. But
thank you. Yeah,
I
do have huge bones. Like, there's nothing I can do about. I can't change that. But I think that part of it is, you know, in my community, the transgender community, we get so focused on inclusion, like including everybody, and like, we forget about like what's really fair. And like, we just need freaking better standards. So I think, you know, with Twitter, it's such a fucking cesspool, dude. It's like,
and that's why I try to tell kids coming. I feel very sorry for kids that are coming up, because when I was a kid and when I was growing up, all I had to worry about was being a poser because I didn't listen to the right bands. When I went to school, you know what I mean? They'd be like, "Oh, you're a poser. You like Blink-182." That's what I had to worry about. Kids now have to worry about being racist, homophobic, transphobic, not gay enough. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they go to school,
right?
You know, so I feel very fortunate that I skateboarded and worried about like normal stuff that a kid would worry about.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays have to worry about the internet and getting filmed at school, or like, you know what I mean? It's a different. I'm trying to empathize and put myself in the shoes of why these kids are so irate sometimes online. And that's got to be a part of it, because, geez, man, imagine being a kid in 2024, like 9th grade, and you're like looking over your shoulder constantly. You don't know who's filming you, making fun of you, outcasting you. I mean, geez, man.
It's a different world than you and I grow up with. I know we're kind of close in age, but I was an 80s kid. I did the same thing. I skateboarded without helmets. I drank out of copper hoses, like, you name it. But kids now, I think what's happening is because of social media, because of all that fear, the social integration that's happening, it's not like when you and I grew up, where you had to go talk to somebody one-on-one if you had a problem with them. Now they can just take a video of you, post it, and talk a bunch of shit behind your back. And
there's
just
no eye contact. Yes.
nothing. It's just like social media wars. And
Yes.
when you see somebody in person, it's like you still don't talk to them. You just battle it out on social media. It's a whole different mentality for this generation. And I feel really bad for them. It's hard.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Like, imagine being 12 years old. Like, dude, I see like 12, like little 10-year-olds in the news of committing suicide and stuff. A 10-year-old commit. You saw that little boy? Oh my God, dude.
I did. Yeah, that broke my heart.
It's sad.
And I have a 12-year-old daughter, and those are the things that I think about that all the time with her, because she, friends at school bully her. There was one couple of her friends took a video of somebody and posted it, and I was like, and she was irate about it. But
so this happened.
This actually happens. Yeah. I mean, it's happening in her school at her age, right here in my little city in Texas. It's like, this shit goes down. Yeah. It's scary.
It sucks. Yeah. And, so I try to empathize with why these people are so mean, and people like to call me a bully, but it just makes you look dumb, because I'm not a bully if I'm responding. I'm only responding.
Right.
I'm not like searching you out. That's what a bully does. Picking on people that don't deserve it. It's like someone's like, "You're a racist," and I'm like, fuck
and
you."
It's
so
what I mean? Much. It's like you're not out there trolling through Twitter and looking specifically for someone to pick on. It's like,
no.
I get the same thing on TikTok. Like if somebody gives me I get hate comments all the time between TikTok and Instagram. If I respond as the creator, like there are hundreds, sometimes thousands of comments of people just shitting all over me, right? If I respond and try to defend myself, I get a strike. And they take down my video.
Exactly, dude. And I'm not trying to diss. Who's that? Drew Afalo, the really popular TikToker.
I don't know who that is.
It's a woman that she's like super famous on TikTok, and she talks a lot of crap to men about men, kind of tears them down, but they're kind of asking for it because they make fun of her.
Okay.
So I do back the fact that what she's doing, but she doesn't get any strikes. She gets put on a pedestal, and she says some mean stuff.
Ooh.
Which the guys that are talking crap to her kind of deserve it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They kind of deserve it.
Right.
I see it. I'm like, dude, you kind of deserve that. And if you do it, you get your TikTok. I got mine taken down for responding.
Yeah, and I have to be so careful. And see, even for you, it's like, we're in a very similar situation. Social media kind of drives everything for us. It drives my business. I know that social media helps, obviously, views for your videos and song downloads and listens and all that stuff. And to not be able to defend yourself and to just let the inmates run the prison is kind of a scary place to be in. And I think that I went back through your Twitter the other night just to kind of prep for this, and I remembered a lot of the shit that you ate on Twitter because you defended yourself, and you see people just coming out of the woodworks shitting all over you, and you're like, well, I ain't taking that, as it should be. You should be able to defend yourself.
Yeah, I should be, and sometimes I go too far, and I do know that, but I'm a human being and I make mistakes sometimes, but. I'll get carried away is a better term probably to use. I'll get carried away, and then I'll start losing touch of what the purpose is, right? So, and that's normal human nature. People do that all the time, but it's, dude, you shouldn't get attacked. Mm-hmm. It's just regurgitation of things that are happening that are not true, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there was this whole thing, it was last year or the year before, when you were everybody called you transphobic. And here I am. It's funny because we're on set for All My Life, and Blair's there, Raya's there, Bunny's there, and I'm there. You have two trans women on your set who
hanging and chilling.
We're all great friends. There is zero transphobia happening. And from talking to you and knowing you from that day forward, I'm like, Ronnie is not transphobic at all.
No,
and
I'm not.
It's funny because now I get labeled. They're like, "Oh, you're platforming Ronnie. You must be transphobic, Gabbi." I'm like, "How am I transphobic? I'm a trans woman."
It's like calling a black guy racist. I don't understand. And you know what? It happens, by the way. And you know what's the crazy thing about it is all that does is when you see that, it's just adding up to making all of these people look dumb. Yeah. And eventually, I'm feeling this shift in I don't know, I'm very intuitive. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a hippie, by the way. I don't believe in all the crazy weird stuff and conspiracies. But I feel a shift in my gut, in my intuitive being, whatever, that people are all universally, they might not say it out loud, but they're all, mostly, not everyone, are all like kind of like in agreement that we're all kind of sick of it. Yeah. And the more I see it, the more people are like, dude, we're sick of this. Like you can just kind of tell, and everything is not, people are they're not taking everything so seriously anymore. When someone's like, you did this, you did this, you did this, you just see people kind of going, who cares? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I'm starting to notice.
Yeah. I felt like there was like a big wave. Like when it first started, everybody's like, oh, you got to be careful and this and that. And it peaked, and now everybody's just gone, I'm done. Like I can't walk outside, and like I can't burp, I can't sneeze, I can't look like left or right without somebody telling me I'm something like transphobic or homophobic or I'm racist.
I feel sorry for you.
They're ready to cancel you. You know, it's like, okay, I'm over that.
I feel sorry for you, and just when I just realized how hard it must be for you to live your life, because it is different to live that way. And now you're thrown into a box of like, well, if you're trans, you're automatically, you're insane. You have to be a part of this. You're trans. You like Joe Biden. You're trans. Right. You are insane. You know what I mean? Like you're in the circle that they made that makes trans people look bad.
I know.
Actual trans people, not the fake trans. And I'm not. You know what I mean? I put my pronouns in my bio, so I'm trans. I'm talking about actual trans people that have to deal with this stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's hard too. So, you know, it's interesting, Ronnie. Since I've been back in the ring, last time when I was on set with you, I was like 190-ish pounds. I'm 210 today. I put on almost 20 pounds.
What the hell?
I haven't lifted a weight. I haven't been in the gym. It's from throwing people around in the ring and picking them up. All my muscles came back. And I'm like, it's harder. I forgot like being at this stage where I've already been here. I felt like I've gone backwards. It's even worse now. Like the hate that is thrown at me is 10 times worse. When I was a little smaller at 190-ish, like I was on your set, it was easier. Like I didn't eat as much shit. Now I'm just eating shit every day. It's like a big shit sandwich for lunch every single day for me.
Yeah, but you're so cool, though. I mean, your character shines through all the bull. It does. You're a very kind person, and it's very obvious. Anybody that actually knows you personally, or even talks to you, like has a 5-minute conversation with you, is like they leave knowing they're cool as hell.
Thank you.
I promise you. We left the shoot, and Saraya's like, so awesome. We're like, what? This makes everything feel more like not so crazy. It makes me feel more confident in that there's people out there that can be like just cool. And it made me realize that you just have to be in person with these people.
Yeah.
And then, because 90% of the time when you're in person, it's not like that. And if it is, they're insane. If you're acting like that in person, you're insane. I don't want to be your friend. You know what I mean? I don't want to be if you're in person acting like you are like they are online, I don't want to be your friend.
No, same.
So you can stay over there.
Same.
Right?
Same.
Yeah. But the video was so sick.
It's crazy. You know, it makes me wonder, Ronnie, like we were talking about our childhood earlier and how you and I were raised where we had to have all this, you know, we had this eye contact with people and we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
What, you know, I don't know much about your childhood, and I don't know if the world knows a lot about your childhood either. Is that something you want to dive into?
I had a book come out, like my core fans bought the book. I mean, it's not like mainstream,
what's it called?
Britney Spears selling book. It's called I Can Explain.
Oh, cool.
I've talked about, my childhood in it like a long time ago, but I was just raised, never had a mom.
Okay.
Was raised by a dad, which is rare.
Yeah.
A biker dad. Outlaw biker dad.
Whoa.
Yeah. That would sell drugs and that got saved by Jesus.
Oh.
So it went from one side of the spectrum to I love Jesus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like You know what I mean? Like, I love Jesus. We're done with all this. Whoa, you know.
Just
You know what I
completely
mean? So,
forgot the whole old lifestyle just out the window as soon as he found God.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, but it saved his life, you know, and the first couple of years of him being Christian were insane because it was like so extremely opposite, polar opposites thing happening.
How old were you
And I was
when
raised
your
by
dad found Jesus?
I was, I don't remember, 10 years old or something.
So you were
and
young.
then, or 12 years old, I think.
Still very
And
young.
then it went from outlaw bikers selling meth to bikers for Jesus.
Bikers for Jesus.
I'm being serious. And he still to this day has a club that is Soldiers for Jesus. And he's
way.
been clean for 30 years or something. I don't even know how long it's been.
He's been clean for 30 years. Wow.
Probably 25. I don't know.
Still,
something
but like
insane.
that's
Something good. Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh my God. And you know, watching that happen as a kid, what kind of effect did that have on you? Seeing your dad go from hardcore, like pretty much criminal, to just suddenly now he's into God, Jesus. Your whole entire landscape of your childhood changes. How does that affect you?
Well, in the midst of it, you don't realize what's happening, but then retrospectively, when you look back, you're like, that's insane. When you reflect years later, when you're a grown man,
Right.
It's like the dichotomy is crazy, you know. So it's wild to think about. Oh, that's why I was this way. And that's why I acted like this, right?
Everything kind of clicks.
But in the midst of it, you're like, this is fun.
This is fun.
You know what I mean?
I'll do Jesus. Why not? Do you and your dad still talk? You guys have a good relationship?
Yeah. And that's what I want to explain too. You just gave me a great idea for a point that I try to make with these people that hate me, that they'll be like, you're transphobic, you're racist, or you're this and that. And it doesn't bother me anymore because I'm so used to seeing it, because they do it to everyone. Every single person is a racist now and a transphobe, if you haven't noticed. It's like insane.
Yeah.
But what I've realized is what these people don't realize about me is my dad's a Christian and I'm not a Christian. But guess what? I still love my dad, and I don't disrespect my dad on a daily basis.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what these people need to realize. Just because I don't believe in everything that you stand for does not mean I don't respect you or respect you guys as a whole. Or, you know what I mean? It's just, there's just certain things I don't agree with.
Right.
Like,
and
just,
it doesn't mean that you can't have a conversation, you know? It's like we've gotten
Right.
so
And
far away from, you know, where like it's like children, where if kids don't agree, they get into a screaming match and throw tantrums. And when adults don't share the same viewpoints, well, that's where we talk about having what's called an adult conversation. We sit down, we disagree, but we're still friends in the end, or we're okay. It's like, okay, no big deal. Now it's like, if you disagree with somebody, you're out the door, dude. Like, we're going to throw rocks at you. We're going to stone you. We're going to cancel you. It's like whatever they can do to just beat you down, step on you, and bury you in the mud. That seems to be kind of what happens. And you get labeled as all those things that you just talked about.
Yeah, and the other thing about it is like, I don't believe in, I'm not a Christian, and but I love my dad, and I love all my dad's friends and friends that I have that are Christians. We just don't really see eye to eye on that. We don't get into screaming matches. My dad's very respectful. You know what I mean? It's not like
it should be, though.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I don't like trans people. That's not what's happening. It's like,
right.
No, I don't believe in certain things that are happening in society. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in the 90s where where when they were called, we would call them trannies, and it was fine. And they would beat, if you were disrespectful, they would beat the shit out of you.
Right.
You beat the shit, dude. In the 90s, you guys don't realize, dude. The 90s were awesome.
The 90s were great.
And you know. And I don't know. I just wish some of these people kind of did a little bit more research. You know, like
yeah. It's funny. It seems like social media is the new search engine. You know, and it's whatever one person says is in. And if they have any type of influence whatsoever, if you got a blue check, or if you have somewhat of a following, you're instantly an expert on everything. And that's half the problem that I see out there, is that when you get down to it, like with what I do, you know, with all of my health and fitness stuff, there's all these myths floating around. I'm like, where did all this shit come from? Like, it takes a little bit of research and some common sense thinking to understand that this shit ain't true, you know? And that's what we're seeing.
What are those degrees? Are those degrees on your wall?
Yeah. So let's see. This is this one over here. This is my degree in civil engineering. It's my bachelor's of science. So I majored in hydrology.
That's badass.
Yeah, minored in structures. I could design a bridge, homie.
What the hell, dude? This is blowing my mind right now. Keep going. I'm serious.
This is my sports nutrition license. So I'm a licensed sports nutritionist with the National Association of Sports Nutrition.
That's awesome.
These are additional certifications I have with the National Association of Sports Nutrition. My certificate for certified personal training is up there too. So I've taken additional courses with the National Association of Sports Nutrition that allow me to have expertise in other areas. So
that is inspiring.
Thanks. Thank you.
All you gotta do is ask, guys. See what I mean? Like that inspires me. You can build a literal bridge.
Yeah, I could if I wanted to. I can I can design a bridge or a skyscraper, you know. It takes some work.
Insane.
I'd have to crack open some old textbooks, but it's, I have that knowledge. I went through that. Ronnie, I've had more calculus in my life than I ever want to talk about. Let's just put it that way.
I don't like any of that stuff that you just said, like calculus and all that. I'm not,
It's boring. It really is. That's why I don't do it anymore. I sat in office.
These are my degrees.
Yeah, there it is, right? I love it. Do what you love.
I got a couple.
Right?
It's not even, I didn't even take it out of the wrapper, you know.
But I can't see it. What is it?
That's my triple platinum plaque or something.
It's just my triple platinum award. No big deal.
Yeah, it's like when you go platinum as 1 million sold, that's the triple platinum one, and it's still in the wrapper. I'm not going to hang it up.
Oh my God.
There's no reason to hang it up.
You want to talk about like prestigious? That's massive. Like to go platinum and then triple platinum as an artist. Like,
yes, I know. In this day and age, I know. Yes, I know, and I'm very grateful. And I feel like there's something to be said about leaving it in the wrapper and not hanging it up, because while this is cool, the award stuff does not. It's of no value, and I've learned that over the years of like when it comes to like getting a Grammy or like given something, to me, it just doesn't feel right to me. Like in my personal opinion, like I don't know.
Tell me about
There's
that.
something about, I don't know. It's just something that doesn't feel real. It feels, congratulations. It's like, how did you guys decide to give this to me? And why? You know what I mean? Like with the Grammys and stuff like that, it just doesn't feel. I've noticed that all these people, like huge artists, always have the same thing to say about it. It's like you get to a certain point, like the big ones, the ones above me, the Taylor Swifts and the Eminems and all those guys, you know, the big ones. But they just always have something to say about how it doesn't mean something. And I think you reach a certain level in life where you're like, you know, if the fans voted for it, they're like, congratulations, we think you're the greatest of all time, or whatever. Then it's different. But it's a backroom thing where there's like 5 people, and they're like, they start checking off if you're woke enough, if you don't have any history of like this or this, and it doesn't. That's what I mean by it doesn't.
So you
feel
have to
real,
fit
you know?
the box that they define for you to get that award,
Correct.
rather than just being like a fan favorite, literally.
Yeah, and then that's cool. So like, if you got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I would definitely be like, oh my God, that's sick.
Okay.
Right, because that's like a lifelong achievement, you know, and then all the greats are there, and then you got a bunch of people kind of just sitting there to celebrate your career, and that's cool as hell. But all the little awards, it just doesn't feel right to me. You know?
I get it. I totally can
appreciate
understand
the plaques and all that stuff. I appreciate it, and I show it off. I'll stream and show people it and stuff, but I'm not hanging it up or anything.
I can totally now that you explained it, I totally understand why. I think it's because you're such a purist at heart when it comes down to your music and to your fans. I think that has so much to do with it. I was on your social media recently. You posted like a cover you did of Last Resort. Papa Roach.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
it's so artistic, and it speaks volumes about you as an artist, because you go from this,
thank you.
You go from this heavy metal, like with this deep, like metal voice, over to, country with Jelly Roll. And now, like, we've got Papa Roach, and it's this beautiful, beautiful song where, from what the clip I heard, there's like, you don't have that deep voice, just pure, like, incredible artistry with this, shows this diversity of who you are as a human.
Thank you.
I mean, you're playing
genre fluid.
Genre fluid. There it is. I don't even know the term. I'm so like music stupid. All I know is I heard it. I'm like,
it's not a term.
Oh, well, it is now.
yeah. Thank you. That's such a compliment. Thank you. I used to get made fun of for wanting to do all the different musics like that. All the different. There was a time when it was like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. You can't, you get made fun of for trying it, and maybe I just wasn't well crafted at it yet. Mm-hmm. And then over time, I just love this wide variety of music. I like Eminem. I like Dr. Dre. I like Queen. Queen is my favorite band. Freddie Mercury is my favorite artist, one of them. I like AC/DC. I like Motley Crue. I like punk. Yeah. I like hardcore. I like Taylor Swift. Some Taylor Swift, not all Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
nice.
Dude, because there's an appreciation because I'm a songwriter, like, at heart. Like, I sit in the studio, and I would be the guy to call. I'm a lead singer though, but if I wasn't a lead singer and I was just a songwriter, I'd be the guy to call the doctor, whatever. I go into the studio and I sit there. I'm like, let's make a hit. That's what I do. That's why I've had a long career.
Obvious.
And you know what I mean? I mean, that's what I'm proud of. Yeah. But yeah, I'll listen to Taylor Swift and appreciate, because she has songwriter help, and I listen for that. I'm like, whoever's helping and her at the same time writing these songs, the melodies, and there's a deep appreciation for pop music, because it's hard. People think pop music's easy. It's not easy to write that, by the way.
Oh, that's good to know. That's such good insight, because sometimes you feel like it's just all regurgitated stuff, and they're just thrown out there.
It's hard. Like the melodies, when you listen, I know you might not like it. There's some stuff that's like, nah, I don't like this. But like, for example, Avril Lavigne is awesome.
Oh, I love Avril Lavigne.
All of her, she has so many hits, and Max Martin helped her write some of the stuff, and I think some other people. But her songs, the melodies are so good. They're so good.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's what I'm listening for. I'm like, damn, dude, whoever's helping this is awesome.
That's crazy. I remember Rhea was telling me about the hours you spend in the studio, and there you'll get like this burst of creativity, and you're like, I gotta go, and you'll just go to the studio, and it's like days on end. You are just in there nonstop. Like, how does
just 12 hours a day of writing music?
Just 12 hours a day.
And people don't realize I'm singing the whole time. Every day. It'd be like 7 days straight, 8 to 10 hours. Sometimes it'll go to 12 hours, and I'll just be singing the whole time, because the part where I make the music, and then it'll be 12 hours of singing vocals to try to figure out the best melody, the greatest melody, the lyrics have to, when the song hits a certain way, the lyrics have to be a certain way, because that's why I feel like that's why it's doing so well, is because people hear that and appreciate the attention to detail,
To think about that, like to have your voice working for 12 hours a day, I mean, that's a whole nother level of artistry. To sit there and just to go lock yourself away. We're talking about kids and how all this shit happens on social media. Attention span is so short, For somebody to do something more than 10 minutes is like a miracle for this generation.
Yeah, and if you're wondering if you need advice out there as a musician or anything, stop trying to get famous quickly on TikTok by making music that took you 40 minutes to make. You turned on auto-tune, turned it all the way up to 100, and you can tell it's auto. Like I feel like nowadays people are just trying to get famous very quickly, and the talent meter is going down. What it takes to be talented is going down, and the you know what I mean? Like it's going in the opposite direction. Back in the day, it was like, oh man, people appreciated this guy because you could tell he spent 20,000 hours working on his guitar work or whatever. And nowadays it's like everything feels very mediocre because of TikTok. And do you see what I mean?
It's like it's got a lot
I'm not trying to call anybody out.
It feels like there's a lot of electronic help, a lot of like crutches, like software crutches where it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. We'll fix it in post, and it's like, it takes away from that talent. That's why when I saw you in the Last Resort video clip and you're sitting in front of like a grand piano, like a baby grand, I play piano. And to know that you, to know that you have that ability to sit down and play instruments.
People don't know that about me.
What's that?
People don't know that about me. They don't know that I rip piano. I've ripped piano for years too, like classical stuff. But
I like to see you do that. I'm like, that's talent. The amount of hours it takes. Like, I know I'm not great. I can play, and I have a baby grand in my house. By the way, next time you and Rhea come over, I gotta have you rip on that thing for me.
Okay,
you gotta officially break it in. But like the hours and hours and hours it takes, it's like. That is, you cannot take that away from anybody that knows how to do that. And you don't just play piano, you sing. I know you play other instruments. Like
I do.
That's a
I
lifetime.
do. I play guitar. I play guitar, and it does take a lifetime. But these songs, like the classical songs with the piano and the strings, that I got help from a guy named Sean Rooney. Okay. And he's a foreigner, and the foreigners are always really good at that stuff. The classically all that stuff that he helped, and he's a pianist and a composer, and that's what I wanted, and I worked hand in hand with him. He's so good, and I just always want to give credit where credit's due, and I don't like taking 100% credit for anything, because without these people helping me, because I wouldn't be as great as I am. I can't do everything on my own.
It takes a village.
The person that mixes my music, I help them mix it, but I couldn't do that on my own. I couldn't be as successful without all the help that I get, and I want people to really know that, because people take too much credit for everything they do. You're not, musicians. You need help, and the help is. I just got a really good team helping me, and I'm proud that I'm at the top of the mountain because I don't need. I could do it all on my own at the same time. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any ghostwriters that are writing my lyrics for me or my melodies, Right. So I could take pride in that as well. But the help is
huge.
Needed.
That like you write all your own lyrics and everything, right?
Yes, and melodies and stuff like that.
That's insane. It's just the absolute creative genius is just mind blowing to me when I get down to it. It's incredible.
The melody. So when Jelly Roll came into the studio, which was at our house, he comes in and he sits down and he has one person with him. He doesn't have a whole entourage like a lot of people usually have entourages. But he was very respectful. He just comes in, has one guy with him, and sits down. And I only have one person with me in my studio.
Okay.
And he goes, "Is this how you work?" And I'm like. Yeah, he goes, so you just sit here and do all of this on your own? I'm like, yeah. He goes, dude, this is wild. I'm like, why? He's like, I'm used to walking in a room and there's 8 people in there all trying to, and that's usually how it usually is like there's like 4, 5, 6 people in a room trying to make a hit song.
Oh, wow.
And that helps, but I don't like doing it that way. Too many chefs in the kitchen.
I was going to ask you that question. It feels like it's kind of taken away from your specific vision and your creativity.
Yeah.
And it kind of pulls you down.
And it'll take like so long for me to make music though. The way that I do it, because it's never good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're seeking
and what it
perfection.
is, it is. Yeah.
But on the butt side, every song you put out is just phenomenal. Like it says so much about when you're in the zone, when you're in that. A lot of times it's called flow state. I'm sure you felt it, where like you get into the zone, and then it's just like you're in this vortex of creativity that like you don't want to be disturbed. Time slows down, and when you're in that place by yourself, the vision. It feels like the universe is almost driving you in a direction. You're literally following the universal direction at that point.
Thank you. Yeah, that's also intuition too. Like I feel like the most successful artists have this sense of intuition and know how to reinvent themselves, and every successful artist and icon has always reinvented themselves.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed.
Oh yeah.
David Bowie became Ziggy Stardust.
Oh
He had
yeah.
a mullet and he had makeup. My Chemical Romance, Eminem, he reinvented himself. He turned into you know what I mean? Like it's there's just so many. Celine Dion, there's just so many times that this is Lady Gaga. They reinvent themselves in a way.
Yeah.
And if you're out there and you're wondering, you have to reinvent yourself. And the only people that are successful that have never reinvented themselves, is like AC/DC.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're the same. They haven't changed at all.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or like, I don't know. Kiss even reinvented themselves. They took off their makeup, if you don't remember.
I completely forgot about that.
They were like weird, real, whatever. They just were
have to
humans,
evolve. Yeah. It gets stagnant. Like people want variety. And I would probably say your venture into country music, that's a huge evolution and reinventing of what
it's
Falling
catchy
Universe
as hell.
can do. Right?
Yeah. I have a little twang in my voice, and I sent it to my label, and he's so honest with me. He'll hurt my feelings. He doesn't care, and that's what I appreciate. So just lying to me, saying everything's good, and then the fans are like, "This isn't good," So
Yeah, you don't
tell me the
want
truth,
around
and
you.
no, and I finally listened to him when he speaks instead of ignoring him.
Yeah.
I sent it to him, and he goes, "This you sound too hillbilly-ish," and I'm like, "What?" And then I listened 3 or 4 times. I'm like, "I do. This is too much." So I took it back and I re-sang it. He goes, "Now this sounds like you with a little bit of twang. Now this sounds like you being honest."
Right.
Instead of being like,
Trying to
"Well,
force
I
it."
don't give a fuck." So.
Suddenly you came down
what?
to Austin and you bought yourself a ranch and now you got horses and cattle and you got your shit kickers on.
Yeah, you can't. Exactly. Yeah, you can't. You got to be more genuine with it. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that about my label and stuff. So yeah.
How does Saraya play into supporting you with music? Do you lean on her a lot for support, for listening to things, or where does she come into your musical creativity and the whole process?
It's so funny that you say that because she's like I'll put the song on and I'll look at her face, and then I'll see her micro
Expressions.
like the way she naturally reacts.
Okay.
Instead of she'll just sit there and then she'll listen, and then she'll be like, "Whoa," or she'll be like, "Yeah, it's good." And depending on if how do I say this without getting in trouble? We won't say that part. Depending on how she feels or what time, it could depend.
Walk
'cause there's
softly.
No, but I'll play it for her, and I'll look at her face, and that's when I can tell. That's ever since this song "Popular Monster," I showed it to her, and she was like, "Whoa!" And then I didn't know how, and then I showed her the next one. She goes, "That was like a hit, like these hit songs."
Right.
She'd be like, "Whoa!" And then I would show her songs that weren't done that were gonna be hits that with a different melody, before I changed it, and then her reaction wasn't the same. So I'm looking at her, and I'm like, because she's not a musician, she's just a normal, everyday listener of music.
Sure.
So she's not listening to all the little nuances. She's just listening to it as a human being that would have it on in the background, and that's how I'm treating it. So when she listens to it, I'll be like, and I'll look at her, and I'll see her eyes light up. I've made her cry before. The Last Resort Reimagined, she cried.
I can see that. That sounds beautiful. Yeah.
She just, started crying. So I'm like, okay, well then that means maybe some other people will feel the same way in a good way, But she kind of is like a meter for it. You can tell. If she's uninterested, then that means maybe I need to work harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so
Because
it's kind of
she's
cool
just
to
a
have
normal-
her right there to kind of give you those insights on it. That's awesome.
And I think that's the trick with writing music is you show a person that's not a musician and you just kind of watch them and make sure they can't see you, and make sure they're just kind of, and you look at you kind of look at how they're micro, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Just, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
When someone's like leaning into it, so it helps for sure.
How did you guys meet? I don't know the story behind you and Rhea and how you guys met. I'd never asked her about that.
My friend Bobby Shabinsky owns Blackcraft. He was on Total Divas because he was getting married to her friend Milena. I think that was.
Oh yeah.
I think her name Milena. Yeah. So he was on Total Divas. They showed up to my to this festival called Self Help. It's like this big festival, and I got out of my car. My dad was there, which is funny. I got out of my car, and Bobby's like, "Hey, look, you guys would be a good couple." He didn't say that. He told me that person, like in a private. I'm like, okay, and we were just friends, and we never really did. We didn't hook up or anything. We're literally just friends for years.
Oh wow!
For years, by the way. It wasn't like 6 months. It was like 5 years of friendship.
Oh, how cool!
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's amazing.
Then we decided to date later. So.
So you had the friendship first, and it built all that. Like, you guys knew each other on a completely different level.
Because she after that, she was going through some of like drug issues herself, and there was like, she just had to come out of that, and
she had that kind of those dark years.
Yeah, so that was during all that, and we remained friends, and I already had my dark years. And I saw it coming like a tidal wave. I'm like, oh, she's got to get through this, kind of thing. And I don't do drugs or anything. So, and she's completely sober. It's been years of sobriety, by the way.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild, so.
When you think back on like the life sobriety. Before.
Yeah.
That's are you totally wild. Sober too, Ronnie? I don't know. I never asked you that.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I don't drink. I don't even drink.
Lead singer of a rock band doesn't drink, totally sober. That's like unheard of.
Well, I mean, dude, I'm 40 years old. There's no way I would look absolute like utter dog shit all the time if I was snorting coke. I mean, I can't imagine. I don't go out to parties. I don't go do red carpets. I don't like any of that. I think it's all just bullshit. Yeah. I hate rubbing elbows. So I don't put myself in those environments. I mean, I drank like in 2018 and before that I was drinking alcohol, having fun, but I was never an alcoholic. Right. Okay. I was a drug addict, by the way. I was a drug addict.
There is a difference.
There is a difference. Alcohol, I would drink it, wake up and be hungover, and then be like, I don't want to drink.
Right.
Not have to drink. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the drugs you had to do. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm actually grateful because when I got off of drugs, they made me go to rehab, and in rehab they teach you, you're always going to be an addict. You're always going to be this. Oh. You're always going to need these. You're always going to want, and I believed that, and over like the course of that, since I got off of drugs, the more I've gotten away from it, I don't need shit. So right. I'm not discrediting Narcotics Anonymous at all, but in my personal road to sobriety, the more time I got away from it, I don't need like a sponsor. I don't need like all these steps you have to take to be sober. I know it helps people, but for me, it made me realize that getting sober, I'd rather be sober and deal with terrible things instead of masking them with stuff. So I prepared myself when I got sober. I'm like, if somebody dies in my family, I need to be sober.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I need to process it instead of hiding from it, because it makes you stronger.
It does.
Right?
It does. My early transition was just littered with like debauchery. Like I was drunk every freaking night. Like I call it my teenage years, because you got all these freaking hormones in your system. Like it's just crazy. Remember when you were a teenager, like hormones are raging. You don't even think, you're running off emotion. I went through that same thing, but I buried everything in alcohol. Like all my all the feelings I hadn't processed yet, all the emotions that were stacking up. I was drunk every night, partying every night. And then my heart was like, nope, we don't like it. I had heart palpitations for a month, Ronnie. Like that, it was like a couple of minutes, and it was brutal. And because of my heart surgery, I can feel it more than most people.
Oh, you had a surgery? Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's open heart surgery in 2019. So I've got
holy shit.
I've got a synthetic aorta. They cut out my they saved my valve, but from my ascending aorta, from where it attaches to the heart, they cut that out all the way out to the arch. I was under for 8.5 hours. So they stopped my heart, deflated my lungs, like they froze my body. I was a brain, is all I was. It was insane, hon. Like, yeah,
wow,
it was crazy.
See, and that gives you perspective, doesn't it?
Oh, totally. Like very.
Yeah, and like you've run that close with death. So why in the hell is someone from Kansas on your TikTok being like, "You're transphobic"? It's like, dude, you saw the light. You saw the light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What, like, when you get close to death, stuff like this doesn't. It just makes more. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
this is trivial. You know. So
yeah. You quickly.
I didn't know that about you either.
Like, there are bigger things to deal with on this planet than worrying about haters and shit like that. You quickly realize, like, this is a short run we have. It is not, it's not as if we get to do this twice. I mean, I kind of think we might, but you know, as far as our minds in this experience goes, like, we get one life, and I do not have the time of day for people that are going to be hating on me. Like, you know, it's,
I do have the time of day. I love talking crap. I love it. I feel like people, you know, I love it. Dude, it's like, you know, you see the roast of like Tom Brady or like, have you seen any of that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I would be so good at that stuff. I love it. You're a certain type of person with that. So
you need an award for that. I bet that's one you'd hang on your wall, huh?
I'd be proud of that award. Yeah, because it would mean something.
Right?
There you go. That's a perfect award, actually, dude. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So I'll go online and roast people because they deserve it, obviously. And then people will be like, he's so mad and upset. And I'm not, dude. I promise you, all the stuff that would once bother me has left. It's been years because it's just the same things.
Yeah.
Right, you get used to it. Like, you get called the same things over and over.
I call a man every day. You still got male DNA. You're a dude. What's up, sir? Hey, bro. I'm like, whatever. I'm over it.
I'm sure at first it bothered you, but now it's been so long.
Yeah. And
you're just like, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah,
right?
It's like, you know, when a commercial comes on, you're watching a show and an ad comes on, you're like, okay, cool. I gotta get up and get gotta get some more coffee. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Yeah. And it doesn't even faze you. You're like, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you now?
Oh, God, I'm 45, Ronnie. I'll be 46 in November.
What the heck? You don't look... That's amazing.
Oh, yes. Come on. Keep it coming. Thank you. Because I feel old.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not even trying to be...
Thank you.
What the hell? 45 is crazy.
It is. I am
Think
old.
about it.
I am a dinosaur when it
comes... But you look great.
Thank you.
So what I've learned about... I was afraid of getting old or getting to my 40s. And I've learned something. When you get... That's my bird if you can't...
Oh, I love your birds.
Yeah. When you get to your 40s, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like this is the best time ever for me because I don't care about what people think about me as much anymore.
Yes.
In my mid 30s and before that, it was really detrimental on how people perceived me and what they thought about me. And I had to go to therapy and learn how to navigate through that, you know. And now it's like, dude, who gives a fuck? Are you kidding me? Oh, you don't like me? Oh, you know, it's like 40 is awesome.
40.
And I'm telling you guys out there, don't be afraid of getting old because it feels like it gets a little better, in my opinion.
No, it really does get better, and I think it has a lot to do with that because you literally go, I am no longer a child. I'm no longer a young adult. I need to seize the rest of my years, and I don't have time to care what you think, is really what it boils down to. And it sets you free in a way, because now you don't have the pressure of trying to please everybody and worry that, you know, if you go down the street, they're going to say something about you and you're not making them happy, or it's going to make you feel bad. It's like you said, you're like, I do not have time to care what you think. It's about me right now. And, you know, what makes
it might
you
be
happy.
hard to... Right. And it might be hard to explain to a person that's 25 But I promise you, I swear, I don't know. It's just something. It's like a switch gets flipped or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm 40 years old, and I just maybe one day I woke up. I'm like, man, I don't care like I used to about certain things, you know. And it's. I'm like, man, I like 40. Other than everything kind of hurting all the time when I wake up. You know what I mean? You wake up, you're like,
I know that
dude, what
so
the
well.
hell is that? You know what I mean?
That and
I can't eat pizza anymore.
Oh,
What?
I
Like,
look
I
at a
mean,
pizza, I gain 5 pounds. I'm like, this sucks.
or you get heartburn for 14 days. It's like, or like, you know.
Oh yeah,
so.
you had that on the set. You were like dealing with heartburn for the video shoot, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you get to, and I was thinking that I went and talked to the doctor, and he's like, for my voice, I had to cancel like 2 weeks of shows because I was just eating steaks and drinking Coke Zeros and then going and singing. And then I went to this vocal doctor, and he looks down there, he goes, you can't eat this, you can't eat this, you have to sleep like this. Oh. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you're not 23 anymore, man. He told me that, and I'll never forget it. I'm like, oh, so you have to learn to accept that you can't just eat whatever you want whenever you want it when you get older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the whole.
I want pizza.
We talked about that. I had GERD as well, and that's like what torched my vocal cords. And it sucks, dude. Like I had to give up spicy foods. I limit my coffee intake. I have like 2 coffees a day. I sleep on my back, sitting up all the time. It's the real deal, bro. So yeah, 40 happens.
And
you flip the switch. You realize you don't give a shit about anybody, but then your body's like, "Hey, I hate you."
yeah. You're like, and then you start looking up pains, and then you go down a rabbit hole and learn that you got to not Google about pains, because then the pains are like, well, what if it's that? And then you start spiraling. I mean, that has come and went though. That whole Googling symptoms. Don't Google symptoms.
The WebMD death.
It's always bad. It's always the worst thing it could possibly be. It'd be like, this could be because of its seasonal allergies, or you're gonna die.
You're gonna die tomorrow.
There's no. Yeah, exactly. So
there's no in between. It's just like you have a runny nose or you have cancer and your heart's failing.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. My daughter's at that stage where she'll go Google stuff. Like she has a pain. She's like, Dad, am I okay? I'm like, you're fine. She's like, I don't need surgery. I'm like, you're fine. No, it's a cough. You're gonna
she's
be
got to
okay.
stop. Dude, that shit ruined my life for like a couple years.
Right?
From Googling stuff, dude.
Oh yeah, you can get
I'm
PTSD
serious.
real quick.
It makes you crazy. It made me crazy, dude. That's why I'm trying to tell people, don't Google stuff. I promise you. You learn about your body when you go to the doctor. You know what I mean? And I went to the doctor. I'm like, this is wrong. And he looks at me. He goes, no, it's not. And I'm like, you can't. What do you mean? He's like, I can just look at you. I'm like, that's impossible. He goes, I've been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah.
I kind of know, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then I start trusting that, you know, it's like, okay.
Yeah. That'd be like somebody coming in and telling you how to sing. It's like, hey, no, I've been doing this for a while. I got this.
Yeah. So I learned to trust your doctors, and they're not always right. They're not always right, but most of the time they are. So
yeah. So, well, aside from hitting 40 and feeling a couple of aches and pains, I would say you look pretty damn good as well. You sound great. Like the song came out amazing. I'm so honored to have a small part in this. I know this is just going to be a historical video and a historical song. It's going to go down in history, and I'm really honored. Thank you for having me in it. And thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah.
And
thank you. And I hope this doesn't cause any trouble for you. And I'm sure, as we talked about, you don't care.
I was going to say, I don't give 2 shits what people think of me.
There's going to be people that talk shit.
They are welcome to.
There will be, but the video is so warm-hearted, inclusive, but in a way that's not woke, not like, oh, we need to check this off a list kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just feels like my old funny videos, but with a warm-hearted twist, and that's the most important thing, and I want people to see that.
But before we wrap up, there was such an amazing scene that you created with you and Blair. Blair's the sheriff. and you're this gunman, and you guys, you got pistols at high noon with each other, and there's this moment when like you guys fire those pistols, but there is a bridge connecting you. Like, what was the thought process behind that? I think this is awesome to end on.
The rainbow, yeah. So we're everybody's always at war with each other. It's like a significant part of the video, honestly. Everybody's always at war with each other. Everybody's got their own little demons and stuff, and it was just like, I shoot you, you shoot me, and then you look down and there's like this hole, and the hole is rainbow colored, and then it comes out and it connects, and it's like kind of just like explaining that it's not what you think. It's everybody's got their own battles, and I want people to realize that it's not as serious as people make it. Like, I'm allowed to believe what I believe.
Yeah. You're
allowed to believe what you believe. At the end of the day, I don't hate anybody. That's like, I don't have enough time to be, or hate in my heart to actually genuinely hate an entire group of people like this. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's
I
not,
love that about
I'm a
you.
musician.
Amazing.
I'm not a music. I'm a musician. I'm not a politician, or like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It's just wild. I want kids to see this and be like, oh, if he can do that, then I can do that. Like, it's gonna be okay, right?
Right.
Because there's young trans kids out there that are actually really genuinely like trans.
Yep.
And
Yep.
they might see someone say something mean about me, and they might like me, and they're afraid to talk about me. They'll get bullied. I don't know. You know what I mean? I want them to see this and be like, okay, everything's okay. Everything's going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. And I love that. I really do. Well, Ronnie, thank you for taking the time to come on. Thank you for chatting. I have a huge heart for you and for Rhea. And I'm just so excited for where your career is going, where you're going as a human, because you guys are, you and Rhea both are just incredible human beings. Big shout out to the rest of the group for everybody that's not here today. So please tell them I say hi, and can't wait to hang out the next time. And then next time in California, we'll hook up and grab some food with you and Rhea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All
right.
I'm going to send you this video. Like the day before it comes out. You just need to see the finished product. It's insane.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't wait to show Mia too. I've been telling her about it since the day I left, and she's just like, I'm really excited. I want to see it. I'm like, yeah, you'll get your chance, kiddo. Don't worry. So.
And if you're a fan out there, I just want to tell you guys, thank you for following me for so long, and through all the bull crap and all that stuff. And I hope this video, and I hope this podcast shows some insight and helps anybody that's struggling out there, because we all have struggles, and sometimes other people can help that. So I hope that this can help a little bit, because even a tiny bit of help can change your whole life. So
yeah, sure can. Ronnie, where can they find all your stuff? Give it a plug.
YouTube. Just go to YouTube.
Got it.
Yeah, Fallen in Reverse. My band's so famous now, so it's easy.
It's stupid. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No. We're doing good.
I love it.
Good.
All
I'm
right.
fucking stoked, dude. So thank you.
All right, Ronnie. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanch you. I'll see you soon.
Quick reminder, this is a listener-supported podcast, so take a moment, head over to the Patreon, show your support. It's patreon.com/Gabbi Tuft. If you want to see the video, it's all there for every podcast episode, as well as lots of behind-the-scenes footage, video, and photographs, and even some images that Instagram and social media probably won't let me show. Head on over and subscribe to the Patreon.